Holy f***, he's taking the car. He's taking the squad car. You know, this just takes some balls to do this kind of stuff.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer, and I am coming to you today. We're talking about a Walmart shooter who got released only to do it again. You know, this is CLR, Criminal Lawyer Reacts, originally started by the content genius that you knew as Michael Rivers, God rest his soul. And I'd like to give a little tribute out to him because he was my son and everything, as you know, and when what happened with him, and over the last couple of weeks, I've been getting, some cards and people send some gifts and like somebody sent a little prism that you hold up in your window or whatever, just some memory things. And I just want to say I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate the cards and everything everybody has sent. And I just can't tell you how heartfelt those sentiments are. And I really, really appreciate it. Even if I don't mention you by name because there's just so many. Just know that I have received every single one of them, and I appreciate it. Tough time to go through. Some days we have good days, and some days not so good days. And if you're one of the dickheads that have left a shitty comment, like that's why, blah, 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 go somewhere else. I just don't need to hear that negativity. Okay? I did everything I could, and it wasn't enough. So that be that. Before we get to our lovely reaction today, this is brought to you by askalawyer.com. Ask a lawyer, not liar. No, not askaliar.com. No. Askalawyer.com. If you have a legal issue that you're not sure if you have a claim or you just want to explore something without having to plunk down a whole bunch of money, for $49, you can go to askalawyer.com and get it consulted by an actual attorney. Or if you want to do a little bit of legal research and you need a little help, they have an AI component that has trained on all the laws of the 50 nifty United States and also the federal statutes. So if you have a little issue, you can get your research done or you can talk to a lawyer. Askalawyer.com. Grandma uses them, so you should too. Okay, let's get into this. This is a cold reaction, and let's just see what we find out here.
One suspect with an extensive and violent criminal history shoots at police in Minnesota only to get released, steal a cop car, and start shooting at police all over again.
I've lost my radio.
Let me just say something about this. Honestly, some people make the dumbest decisions. I just don't know why people would do what they're doing here. If you are in trouble, you best deal with it up front, unless it's really bad, and then you go on the run. I don't ever recommend you going on the run. But, and by the way, this comes from Midwest Safety. It's another channel. Give them a little love.
Around noon on March 16th, 2020, officers were called to a Walmart in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, to investigate some potential shoplifting.
And just a quick note. Did you see the windshield there? And the cop is getting shot at, right? Whether you hit a cop or not, the act of shooting at a cop is called first-degree assault, at least in Minnesota. And guess what? That's a 10-year mandatory minimum, and that's a 10-year hard mandatory minimum.
Along with the purchase of a suspicious amount of ammo. From the surveillance footage, the suspect in question can be seen paying cash for an item in the electronics section of the store. However, it is worth noting that this individual has a criminal history of counterfeiting. In fact, at the time this video was recorded, he had just served a several-year-long sentence for counterfeiting. He was also charged with the illegal possession of a firearm and for possessing at least 6 grams of cocaine, heroin.
So here's the deal. I think if you are not a good criminal, you should find another line of work. Because if you're constantly getting caught, guess what? You're going to get caught again.
And/or meth. After filling up his cart past the brim, the suspect walks himself to the self-checkout lane. Here, suspected accomplices can be seen. When the suspect walks out the door to leave, he is confronted by police, and the following scene unfolds.
I'm on the phone right now.
This could stop here, and if it stops here, it's a counterfeiting case. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not that big a deal. And a lot of times people commit a serious crime to avoid the lesser crime.
Now. Get down on the ground right now! Get down on the ground! Get down on the ground right now!
There's no need to run from this. There's no need to run from this cop. I mean, so what? So you got a few funny money charges coming your way.
He's shooting!
Okay, you just went from maybe a little bit of time to a lot of fucking time and exposing yourself to gunfire. See how far away that cop is? You know, people always think, you know, it's not like the movies. You know, when cops like unload their guns, you know, a handgun's not that accurate.
3 shots fired, Walmart parking lot.
Okay, now he gets the big gun. So if you're hiding in a car, that'll go right through a car door. I think. Imagine being a soccer mom in this fucking parking lot. Honestly, shit. Officer, can I my kitty's in a tree. No, I am gonna go shoot this guy.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm good. Where is he? Is he okay?
He's okay.
Stay down! Get down! Don't you get down on the ground right now! Down on the ground!
So the other thing that cops, when this happens, you talk about getting the cop stander up. I mean, there's no off switch to this cop now. He is singularly.
While one officer pursues the shooter, this officer orders the 2 suspected accomplices to get on the ground.
What are they accomplices of? The theft or the continuing assault against the police officers? You know, that's a legal question, right? Did they have anything to do with the shooting of the cop? No, they didn't. But like I said before, you go in to rob a liquor store with your buddy, and all of a sudden he pulls out a gun and starts shooting somebody and kills somebody, you are in for a penny, in for a pound.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands up!
These guys were smart because that cop would have shot them.
After the incident, the shooter was sent to the hospital to recover from his injuries, which were not fatal. No other injuries were reported. While court documentation for this incident is not readily available, news sources indicate that the shooter was charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault, particularly the use of deadly force against a peace officer, and 1 count of possession of ammunition or a firearm as a convicted felon.
2 counts of first-degree assault, that's against probably each officer, or 2 separate incidents. And that's a 10-year mandatory hard minimum, and you don't get credit for good time on that. And then the 1 count of possession of ammo or a firearm, that's a felon in possession of a firearm. This guy is, I guarantee he's not eligible to possess a firearm, and it's a 5-year mandatory minimum. But they likely run concurrently.
2 additional charges were filed against the suspect months later for the same incident. He was charged with second-degree assault and first-degree robbery for pointing his gun at a woman in an alleged attempt to carjack her during the shooting. Take note of this dark...
You know, might as well just do everything. You know, might as well just have a smorgasbord of charges heading your way. How hard is it to get a fucking construction job and just work, go home and beat your wife like you normally would? I'm honestly kidding about that. But it'd be a lot less burdensome than going on the run. And what the fuck was he going to do with this? You know what I mean? I mean, it just seems like it was a disaster from the beginning.
Form of foreshadowing. The sentencing results of this case have become moot after the suspect posted bail in April of the next year and would be involved in another incident with police. On May 19, 2021, the suspect was stopped during a routine traffic violation in Utah. At the time, he was traveling with a female in the passenger seat. The traffic violation eventually led to enough suspicion for the officer to conduct a search of the vehicle. The officer calls for more squads to arrive on scene.
So you're released on bail, you don't come back to court. Well, I suppose why would you? Because you don't have a prayer in hell beating that case. And you're looking at least 10 years, if not more. I mean, they could probably, attempted murder, I think, would be a better charge, because that would be like 15 years.
Officers are unaware that the suspect is out on bail for shooting at officers in Minnesota.
So do you have any other idea? It's probably
Okay, you see him bringing her back? That's one of the things that they do. They separate, and they want to get her story and your story independent of each other. And you know what? They're not going to tell the same story.
based on the stories. Nothing that well, that ID doesn't even look like her at all. Just so you know, he's consented to a search of the vehicle. Okay, is there anything illegal in the vehicle that you be aware of before he signed it? No marijuana, methamphetamine, guns, bombs, heroin.
Heroin? No heroin. No, nothing to see here. Nope. One of the things cops look for with an out-of-state, you know, when they're traveling, you know, along the highway looking for somebody to mess with, is out-of-state plates. You're traveling across the.
You want gloves?
During the search, the officer had the suspect sit in the passenger seat of his cruiser without handcuffing him. News sources indicate that 9 pounds of methamphetamines were found in the suspect's vehicle, along with a 9mm handgun.
9 pounds of meth. All right, so now you've got a charge in Minnesota for assault against a police officer with using deadly force, 10 years. You've got 9 pounds of meth going across state lines. So that's federal, and 9 pounds of meth, I think it's a level 38 or thereabouts. And, you know, you wrap all that stuff together, he's got the government's going to have a hold on him for the rest of his natural life, almost.
Got a meth pipe. You got gloves by chance, extra gloves?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely not her, not even a little bit.
No. Why don't you just watch her? Yeah, I'll watch her. Stay there. Hey, he's taking your car.
Holy fuck, he's taking the car. He's taking the squad car. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, this just takes some balls to do this kind of stuff.
There. Hey, he's taking your car.
Okay, now the game is on.
Ridge Road 569. I'm going to be going 1080 with a suspect. He has stolen the K9's vehicle. He is in a police vehicle. We are 202 northbound.
Yes, you heard that correctly. There is a K9 police dog in the patrol vehicle that was stolen.
So that raises another issue altogether. Because as far as that cop is concerned and the law is concerned, that K9 is also an officer. Not a human officer, but an officer nonetheless. And they're protected as such.
Taken off in a police K9 vehicle, 1618.
Look at this dumb shit with the U-Haul. Move the fuck over.
13. This is one Oscar. I believe it's one Oscar 9 or one Oscar 10's police unit. They're taking the 202 exit. Do I have permission to continue?
Requesting permission to continue taking 202 exit.
Police vehicle, affirmative.
10-4. Looks like he's just stopped right here at the stop sign at the 202.
Copy, stopped at 202, 1620.
Somebody who thinks they don't have anything to lose is really fucking dangerous.
324, 1620.
He's got a gun.
The gun the suspect is shooting at the officers with is the police department's rifle from the cruiser.
He's got his rifle. Oh, shit. Shot. Shots fired.
To put yourself in a position where you are drawing fire from a cop just seems so ballsy, doesn't it? I mean, it's just so reckless. But I mean, and maybe the guy's on meth, you know, I mean, clearly they were smoking meth in the car. But I just, you know, some people just are on that side of the law. You know, that's where they live. They live for, you know, and jail is just your hiatus from your criminal activity.
I've lost my radio.
Watch out, watch out, watch out. We got cars coming up.
Yeah.
I don't have a radio.
I'll get in your car. Ridgefield 569, shots fired, shots fired.
Copy, shots fired, 1622, everyone okay?
Affirm he's attempting to steal someone's vehicle.
249,
Go, 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 go!
The pedestrians pulling up to the scene discover a true nightmare. The shooter attempts to carjack their vehicle, walking right up to the passenger side window.
Ridgefield 569, he's attempting to steal a civilian's vehicle right here. He has a county's rifle.
Now, I mean, you add now carjacking to this. I mean, what more crimes can we add up here?
Put the gun down! Drop the weapon!
county rifle, 1623.
And you can't send the dog after him because he'll shoot the dog.
569 vehicle description, he's trying to steal.
It's a white mid-size SUV.
Copy, all units, white SUV, he's trying to steal. 1623.
Rule number 87, why not to stop on the side of the road, help somebody out? Fucking hate.
We're right here at the 202 by the stop sign. Ridgefield 569, be advised there are vehicles on the northbound off or on-ramp parked to the side.
Vehicles on northbound on-ramp parked to the side, 1623.
Put the gun down! Put it down!
Reports indicate that a female driver, unaware of the situation, slowed down to see if the shooter needed help. The suspect reportedly pointed his rifle at her head and told them if they did not transport him, he would kill them. The driver's significant other made the decision to hit the barrel of the rifle away. The suspect would then pull the trigger and fire it into the center of the dashboard. This caused the car's OnStar system to activate, temporarily disabling the SUV. They quickly restarted the car and sped away. However, the suspect kept firing at them, causing a bullet to go through the passenger's leg. This is unknown.
Tell me that's not attempted murder now. So now you have however many cops that we have involved in this. And for each person, you can consider, you know, something coming their way, in other words, a bullet coming their way, as a charge. And then now just firing at that driver, that's another set of victims. And one of the things that courts do when it comes to multiple victims, it's called permissive consecutive sentences. So this can all stack up so crazy on this guy.
Known to the officers in the moment. Officers in the moment.
Back behind the car.
I see it. You got your shotgun?
It's in the front.
What's that?
I think I hit his leg.
Gotcha.
The officer did indeed hit the suspect in the leg.
13-569, he was firing at that civilian vehicle. They're stopped.
Now, imagine when they ultimately get this guy. You think they're going to just treat him with kid gloves, or you think they might be a little bit rough with him?
I don't know if they're hit or not. He's hunkered down behind County's vehicle right now. I got movement back passenger side, driver's side, rear driver's side.
If you're on the run, stay off the fucking road. You know, just stay off the road. Go smoke some weed and mellow out on a couch with your Cheetos.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands! He's behind that tire.
Problem with these videos, you can't really see the dude too well. I had a case where my client had a standoff with the cops. It wasn't quite like this. He was barricaded in a home by himself, and the cops wouldn't go in because it wasn't safe. Finally, they tear gassed the house, and he never came out because he wound up taking his own life. But you know, it's a very difficult thing for these cops to get close because of the danger involved.
Was that you?
And it looks like they're far away, but really, when you think about it, they're really not that far away.
I don't see any movement in either side, but he's got a goalie he can go down, and I won't be able to see him. I don't see movement.
This is where a drone would come in handy, wouldn't it, for these cops?
They just mentioned that he went down the ravine to the east.
As the officers recoup from the situation, it appears another civilian drives by the stolen cruiser.
Leave! Get out of here! No, not that way!
Also, unit, advise airman to 10-0 to see if they can see any.
When somebody's cornered like this, and you know, one of two things generally happens: either the cops take their life, or they take their own life. Remember the Gabby Petito case, you know, where he probably just went way too far and then wound up taking his own life because he wasn't gonna. This happened to me not that long ago, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I had a trial, and my client went on the run after he testified. Didn't bother sticking around for his cross-examination. and then he wound up just jumping off a bridge. You know, I mean, he didn't take anybody else out, but he certainly was desperate and did a desperate thing. It's just sad when you see this kind of thing because, I mean, it's not sad for this guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. This violence has got to stop. And the cops have to stop it because he's going to kill somebody. And he already tried to kill somebody.
Time passes, and officers call in Utah's SWAT team equipped with an armored truck to approach the suspect. Reportedly, he was still able to run off to a nearby river, and a search was initiated. However, he was soon found and detained. There were no casualties during this incident. The passenger shot in the leg, and the suspect were both medically treated. For this incident, the suspect was charged with 4 counts of attempted aggravated murder, 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping, and 1 count of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of theft, 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a restricted person, failing to respond to a police officer's command to stop, and altering the number or mark on a gun. His passenger was also charged with several crimes. For his crimes, he was sentenced to a 25-year prison sentence. In 25 years, he will be 60 years old. He was also ordered to serve an additional 5 years of supervised release. As of the time of publication, his case in Minnesota is still pending. It's not the first time Minnesota has allowed a cop shooter to quickly be released on bail. Unfortunately, a local reform-minded prosecutor has begun denying our open records requests, resulting in lengthy legal fights in order to get videos like this one released to the public.
All for what? Just for shits and giggles? I mean, what a waste. Waste of his life, and almost took out a bunch of people for nothing, for no good reason other than he didn't want to get caught. And now he's going to be a guest at the inn for over 25 years. Then if he fucks up, or when he fucks up, I'm not going to say if he fucks up, but when he fucks up and gets out of federal prison, he has to come back and do the Minnesota case. You know, I mean, because you don't get credit for time for one jurisdiction when you're in another jurisdiction's jail. So if you're in the feds, you don't get credit for your state time. Or if you're in the state, you don't get credit for your fed time. So that's our reaction to somebody fucking around at Walmart and finding out. You know, I like cases that I can win, you know. For example, a good homicide where there's a self-defense claim. I love that because that's an intrigue, you know. And when you have that, a jury's looking at you like, okay, let me hear the story, you know, especially when you're not really arguing about, you know, who did what. You know, that's the best kind of, it's just, what does it mean legally? Like I had a guy that was sitting at a bar in northern Minnesota. He was asked to help escort this unruly patron out, is at a VFW. And my guy was holding his hands, and another guy was holding him from behind. They bring him outside, and he wriggles free, tries to take a swing at my client, and my client just pushes him. He falls back, hits his head. They charge him with second-degree intentional murder. So he was looking at 25 years. And the jury came in. I didn't even get to my car when went to the jury, and they came back with a not guilty verdict. You know, I love those kinds of things. But how do you defend something like this? Well, Your Honor, he's really not a bad guy. He's just misunderstood. You know, there's nothing you can say. This is the worst fucking guy I've ever seen in my life. You know, I mean, he's just absolutely doesn't give a shit about anybody or anything except for him trying to get away. And I'm going to kill you if I can't get away. So lucky that nobody lost their life in this. So absolutely lucky. So we'll see you next time here at Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you go to askalawyer.com for all your askalawyer.com needs. I told you all about that at the beginning of the show. And make sure you follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon. And if you're a paid member, you get one of these lovely hats sent to you by our buddy Nick. And make sure you follow us on Facebook too. We're trying to grow our Facebook presence. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?